We're getting started tonight with some late-day action at Queen's Park over the Ford government's controversial Bill 5. That's the one that aims to fast-track mining projects, and the government is making some last-minute changes to it after a group of Indigenous chiefs spoke out against it, and tonight the opposition is trying to stall the bill. Lorenda Reddekopp is live for us at Queen's Park tonight. Lorenda, tell us what's happening there behind you.
Well, Chris, right now, the NDP opposition, they're in the middle of a filibuster. And so that's in this, there's a committee room just down that hallway. They plan to sit until midnight, going through every single part of this bill. That happens with all bills, but they're going through every single clause, trying to delay this as long as they can. It is one of those political games, but one that they say is necessary.
This bill, it just takes us backward.
The opposition again warned the government about its legislation.
You can call them special economic zones, but what we know you are doing is opening up the floodgates for an abuse of power by government.
The government says the goal of those zones is to speed up big projects, such as mines, highways, and power plants. Some Indigenous leaders spoke out against the bill earlier in the week, and the government is now making some changes. In addition to those special economic zones, it says it's developing regulations for new Indigenous-led economic zones. Plus, they added an amendment that regulations will recognize Aboriginal and treaty rights, including the duty to consult, though by law, the government is already required to do that.
Under no circumstances will we compromise treaty rights, Madam Speaker, or the duty to consult. In fact, it will be a sharpened focus with First Nations who've approached us.
But Indigenous leaders warn the government could be headed towards blockades and protests, like the former federal Conservative government faced more than 10 years ago.
It's an insult to First Nations when you do things on the very last minute, at the 11th hour.
He says the government failed on consulting and feels they'll be forced to make more amendments. The Premier says these changes are needed right now.
We're in an economic war against President Trump. We want prosperity for the First Nations communities right across our province.
The NDP also attacked that idea, saying rights will be trampled if this bill passes.
What we cannot do is fight back against Trump's trade war by adopting Trump-style tactics, right? But that is exactly what this Premier and his government are doing.
Outside Queen's Park, people protested against the bill, Indigenous people and environmentalists. It would also water down the Endangered Species Act, giving Cabinet the final say on whether a species should be protected.
And here inside Queen's Park, it could be a pretty late night for some MPPs. I'm told that the latest that committee meeting can go is until midnight. And so that filibuster, it will continue. They are on a dinner break right now. They'll be back at 7 p.m. And I just spoke with a Liberal MPP who was walking out of the committee. He says they are also taking part in that filibuster. So a few more hours to go. They are requesting votes on every single piece of that legislation.
Sounds like a busy and potentially late night there at the legislature. Lorenda Reddekopp for us live at Queen's Park. Thank you, Lorenda.